The Book of Maccabees, primarily 1 and 2nd Maccabees, found in the Apocrypha and the Sefer, are crucial for understanding what happened to Israel in the time between the Old and New Testaments, specifically in the 2nd century BCE. They reveal a prophetic and violent struggle where Israel faced forced assimilation, desecration of the temple, and warfare with surrounding nations, but also rose up with righteous resistance led by the Maccabee family. Let's talk about it because a lot of people don't know about the Book of Maccabees. What's happening with Israel? The time period, roughly 175 to 134 BCE, between Malachi and Matthew, often called the 400 silent years, though they were anything but silent. The main oppressors, the Seleucid Empire, the Greek Syrian rulers, led by Antiochus IV Epiphanes, a descendant of the Alexander the Great's generals. The persecution of Israel, 1 Maccabees 1:41 through 50. Antiochus outlawed the Torah, circumcision, Sabbaths, and sacrifices. He desecrated the temple in Jerusalem, erected idol of Zeus on the altar called the abomination of desolation, forced Israelites to eat unclean food, that swine, that bacon, that ham that you guys like, killed women who circumcised their sons, slaughtered thousands who refused to convert. This was not just political oppression, it was spiritual warfare, an attempt to erase the covenant of Yahuwah from the earth. The Maccabees rise. A priest named Matthias and his 5 sons, especially Judah Maccabee, refused to submit. They fled to the hills, started a guerrilla war, destroyed Greek idols, restored the altar, and purified the temple, rededicated it, the origin of Hanukkah, feast of dedication, mentioned in John 10:22. In 1 Maccabees 2:27, who is zealous for the Torah and supports the covenant, come with me. This was a spiritual and national revolution, not just a fight for freedom, but for faith, identity, and obedience to Yahuwah. Who were the enemies of Israel? Well, it was the Greeks. Seleucid Empire tried to Hellenize Israel, erase the Torah, and replace it with Greek culture, philosophy, and idols. The Edomites, the Idumeans, allied with the Greeks to betray Israel. This is prophetic. See the book of Obadiah. Ammonites, Samaritans, and the Philistines, constant enemies of Judah who supported their oppression. And the apostate Israelites. Some Israelites forsook the covenant and sided with the Greeks. Just like today, not every Israelite stood for truth. Some were corrupted, sold out, or were too afraid to resist. So, the prophetic themes in Maccabees. First thing is remnant resistance. Only a small group rose up to fight for righteousness. Yahuwah doesn't need a crowd, just covenant keepers. Torah or death. Many were martyred rather than break the commandments. Read 2 Maccabees 7, the mother and 7 sons who died rather than eat pork. The kingdom is violently opposed. As Yahushua said, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence. Matthew 11:12. The enemy wants to wipe out the royal priesthood and the holy nation. And victory by faith, not numbers. Judah Maccabee and his brothers defeated armies much longer than them, just like David and Goliath. So let me give you the final understanding. The book of Maccabees shows Israel under spiritual genocide. But a remnant rose up, led by warriors of faith who refused to bow to idols, fought for Torah, temple, and truth. The enemies were not just nations, but systems of the Hellenization, forced religion, and culture erasure. And through blood and bravery, Yahuwah preserved his people so that the Messiah could be born in Judah in due time. I hope you learned something new today.